Welcome to Yoga 45, our 45-minute flow here this morning. Like I said, a strap is helpful for today's practice, but not required. If you have one handy, go ahead and look for that or reach for that. And we're just going to start seated today. So I'm kind of close to you for right now. I'm not back on my mat. So you can start however you feel best. Maybe the spine is nice and tall, you're sitting crisscross, or you've got kind of one leg in, one leg out, whatever feels good to you. If you have the luxury of having a piece of furniture in your home that you want to like scoot up against, maybe a wall or a chair or something just to support your back, you're always welcome to do that. So just close your eyes and just do a quick little check-in. See how things are feeling today. Maybe just tap into the muscles of the neck, the upper back, the shoulders. And then just see where your breathing is today. It's not uncommon when you first come to your mat that, your breath is pretty shallow. We need to invite in some fuller, deeper breaths, some encouragement to the body to kind of find a little more space. Today's practice is going to encourage us to be fully present in each of the poses and to kind of let go of the worry. Let go of the worry that maybe we're not quite following along just right, or that we're not quite making the shape we should. It's just about being in your own body today and seeing what feels good to you. So when you feel ready, start to add a little bit of movement with your shoulders, maybe inhaling to bring those up towards your ears, and then exhaling and letting them fall down the back, down the spine. A couple more easy rounds up towards the ears, and then back down. Maybe they're circling, or maybe they're just simply lifting and lowering. It might feel good to even bring the arms out a little wider and lift and kind of let the arms float up and float down. We're going to be using our shoulders today, so we want to make sure that they're here and that they're awake. You might even lift one and then the other. This starts to open up the side body a little bit, start to wake up all these muscles right along the sides of the body. And then just bring yourself back to a tall spine. Right ear is going to move towards your right shoulder. Right hand comes up. Just put a little pressure on the top of your head. And then move back to my mat. So again, just that gentle posture, a little pressure there on the top of the head. Maybe this arm is out to the side is kind of getting a little circling motion, or just kind of flipping the hand from side to side. And then let's come back up to center and try the other side. So the same thing. My studio space, I kind of jazzed up a little bit. We have some Christmas lights hanging and a little festive tree on stage and some wrapped packages. Here at home, I haven't done anything in this room. Might need to. All right, when you feel ready, a nice big inhale, reach the fingertips high to the sky. And then just exhale, bring these hands down to your heart. Lace the fingers together, press the palms forward, give yourself a little rocking side to side. And then inhale just to lift these hands up overhead. And then lean from side to side again. So we're just waking up that side body. Perfect, back to center. Let these hands move back down and then unleash them, let them come around back. Maybe palms are just gonna flip and you're gonna set this on your low back. Maybe you take the hands to the floor behind you, or perhaps you lace those fingers behind the back. You can just sit tall and proud, or you might start to lift your chin slightly up towards the ceiling. Drop the shoulders down from your ears, open the heart. This shape you're making with your shoulders right now, we're gonna do this a couple times today. So take your care of those shoulders. That's why we did a couple little shoulder warm-ups to make sure. Perfect. Start to split those hands apart, and we'll move on to hands and knees on the mat, moving into a tabletop posture. All right, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, starting just to feel where you are on your mat and be shifting the hips forward and back. Perhaps even syncing it with your breath. Maybe the exhale breath sits you into child's pose, and then the inhale breath is maybe a half plank. Child's pose. And a half plank. Next time you hit that half plank, just start to check yourself in a nice table. Cat-cow for 3 breaths. Inhale down. Exhale round. 2 more. Take it at your own pace, following that breath. Let it lead you through each one of these poses. Perfect. Go ahead and curl your toes under. Let's find our first down dog today. Hips are lifted nice and high. Walk that out. When you feel ready, drop your right knee down into the ground. Step your left foot all the way up towards the front of your mat. Maybe reach for blocks if you have a set handy, or just put those hands on the earth. We're going to sink a little bit into this front knee and let that back hip flexor have some space. Breathe. Inhale breath, we'll sit up from this pose, toes lift. Exhale breath, we'll sink back in. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, toes lift. Exhale, settle in. Last one, lift. Exhale, settle in. See if you can lift your hands up tall here. And then just sweep them down towards the sides of the body, and they're going to take their first lace behind your back. Now, if that shape is too big, hands can just simply rest here on the low back. Maybe your gaze is straight forward or slightly lifted. 1 more breath. Big shoulder opening today, a heart opening. Drop those hands. Sweep them back up to the sky. Bring them down to the earth, to blocks or to the floor. Toes curl under on your back foot. Lift that knee. Stay in that shape. 1 more breath. Now, if you're using blocks, you'll turn your blocks to their shortest sides. If you're not using blocks, don't change your hands. Take a big step back. Downward facing dog, walk it out. Left knee hits the floor, right foot steps all the way through, looking for that same lunge shape on this side. Sinking in, pulling back. Sinking in, pulling back. Last one. Sinking in, pulling back, hold, switch the shape, forward weight goes back into that front foot, hands lift up. Let these float down your hips, reach behind you, maybe they go to low back, or perhaps they lace. Walking those shoulders down away from your ears, opening that heart, gaze is either straight forward or maybe you take it slightly upward. Giving that breath a space to go. Perfect. Hands start to come apart. Let's send them back up. And then back down to earth. Toes curl under on that back foot. Again, if you're using blocks, maybe reach for those. Lift that knee up off the ground. Watch your front knee. Keep it either in line with that ankle or slightly back behind. If this foot is tucked so far underneath of you that your knee's way out in front, scoot that front foot out. Give yourself a little more space. If you're using blocks, flip them to the shortest sides. Otherwise, step back, downward facing dog. Walk it out. Take another round of breath here. Knees drop into earth, hips sit back on heels. If you're using blocks, make those tall. Put your hands up on the tops of the blocks and sink into those heels. Open up the top outer edges of the back. Now, if you don't have blocks, you can put your arms over anything. You have some other piece of equipment handy. Otherwise, just drop your elbows down, maybe pull the hands in near the back of the head. That's going to give you a similar shape to open up those shoulders. One more breath. Perfect. Begin to rock forward. Put yourself in full plank. So that means, let's see if we can wake up that core. Bring the knees up off the earth. Push the heels slightly backward. Lift through the upper back. So think about if you had a string right in between your shoulder blades. Pull that slightly up while dropping your hips just a smidge. Make sure your core is engaged. Give it 2 more breaths. Your gaze is a couple inches out in front of your fingers. Perfect. Hips lift up, downward dog. Walk it. All right, feet take their time. They're going to move up here to your hands. You're in your first forward fold. Always reaching for blocks if you want them. Not necessary, but if you want them. Hang in that fold. Shake the head, yes. And no. And then let's give it a half lift. Inhale up halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold. Plant the feet on the earth. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus shape. Take it out. Elbows come in front of the face. Hands in front of the face. Exhale, sit down, chair pose. Hands sweep back. Inhale, stand up. Arms go to those 90s. There you go. Exhale, sit. This is your flow for just a moment. Dynamic movement. Make sure it's matching with your breath. See if you can give a little bit more rotation on these arms when you send them back this time. So try when your arms go back to flip your palms so that they face the ground. See what that does in between the back of the shoulders. Inhale, back up. Exhale, last one, chair pose, hands flip. And then find your toes. Work, shake your head, yes. And no. Inhale, stand up strong and tall, hands lift up. Exhale, cactus. Elbows in front of the face. Exhale, chair. Hold. Exhale, toes. Half lift, inhale, breath. Exhale, toes. Right foot steps back, spin the right heel so it touches the earth. Bring the chest up. You are in warrior one. Front knee is bent. Hang in that warrior shape. Exhale, breath, hands go down by hips, reach around, make that lace again. Now, of course, if this shape doesn't work for you, hands can gently position themselves on your low back. Watch what's happening here with the belly and the pelvis. Don't put a big sway in your back in order to get your hands back there. Make sure you have still a little bit of abdominal control. Now you can stay here, or you can start to hinge slightly forward. Your nose goes on the inner edge of this front knee. So that's kind of the line you're looking for. Maybe your front knee stays in line with your middle toe. Give yourself a little bit more space to breathe. Hands can come long and high away from your back, or they can just kind of hang out there. Inhale, breath. Start to bring your chest back up. Release those fingertips from one another. Let your shoulders get happy again. Maybe they take a couple big rolls. All right, then you're just gonna spin up on these back toes, put yourself into a crescent. Hands come to the outer edge of that front knee, and you're gonna open with your first big twist. If you wanna reach for a block, you can put it on the outer edge of that knee. The big twist. Maybe hand even reaches around back. Give it a breath. Balance, twist, sneaky, all into one. Perfect. Start to untwist from that. Take your time. And then you're back to the floor. Front foot steps back. Here's an opportunity for your first vinyasa if you want this. Plank, lower. I've got a bolster right in my face. Cobra, to knees, to down dog. Walk it out. Small steps with your feet, walking back up towards your hands. Half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach hands up. Exhale, cactus shape. Inhale, elbows in front of the face. Exhale, sink back, bend knees. Hold. Toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back, left heel turns. Bring yourself up. Warrior one, other side. Sink in. Appreciate that shape. Remembering that your feet can widen a little bit as if you were on 2 railroad tracks. The hands drop down by hips. They're going to lace behind the back just as we did before, or just hang out on that low back. You can stay right here, or your nose can look just inside that knee. And fold. Again, arms may come high up over the back, or they just kind of hang out here on your low back. Pay attention to your shoulders. See how they feel. If you got a tricky shoulder, you got something not feeling real great, take care of it. Listen to your own body. Take the worry out. There's no pressure. It's just yoga. Inhale, bring the chest back up. Release those hands. Make your shoulders happy again. Maybe they need a little space. Arms come up, twist up on these back toes, and think about crescent. Hands go to the outer edge of this front knee. And they can stay together in a low prayer shape. They can fly open like a pair of wings. You can even reach this top hand maybe around back. Put that block on the outside edge of that foot. But remember, the twist is sneaky. It's got balance and a twist in one. So if you have to reach for a wall for a quick balance check like I just did, that's all right. No pressure, no worry. Give yourself the space you need. Perfect. Starting to unwind from that. Hands are going to go back up to the sky. Take your time. And then you're down to the earth. Another optional vinyasa can go right here. Front foot steps back, high plank. Or plank on your knees. Exhale, lower. Give yourself cobra, or maybe walk hands back even with breastbone and give yourself an up dog. Toes curl under, hips lift up. You're back in downward facing dog, or whatever version of that vinyasa is better for your physical body. All right, friends, small steps of the feet. Let them walk forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the hands all the way up. Exhale to that cactus. Bring the elbows in front of your face, sit down, another chair. Hold. Exhale, float and fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, right foot steps back. Warrior one again, chest comes up. Relax those arms into cactus. Take your elbows in front of your face. Send your arms backward. Hold. Bring your elbows back up in front of your face. Open them back out to cactus. and then send them back up to the sky. Hold. Now from here, you're going to drop your arms wide and down towards your hips, and you're going to start to straighten this front knee. Now pay attention. From right here, I feel a little too far apart. So I'm going to bring this back foot up just a step. My toes are still slightly turned out, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to turn on this heel. So now I feel like both of my hips shine a light really straight up my mat. See how that feels for you. Option here to reach hands up tall, and you're going to extend out, pulling this hip back. Now, if at any point in time you need to bend this knee because your hamstring is really unhappy, you certainly can do that. For those of you who are looking for a little more, maybe your hands start to reach down for a set of blocks, and you really straighten this front leg. What I hope you can see from home is that I'm paying attention to what's going on in this back leg. I would like to be able to keep my back heel grounded in the earth, but I also want to make sure I'm not feeling any hyperextension in this front knee. The stretch should be mostly in your legs. Give it one more breath. Soften that front knee. Start to bring your chest back up if you folded. Beautiful. Hands come down to the side. Now we're going to take a big step up to the front of the mat into this front knee. This leg that you've had back behind you, you're just going to kick that foot up so that the heel faces towards the sky. See if you can reach down with your hand and grab a hold of that foot. Just a quad stretch. Now to amp up your quad stretch just a smidge, I want you to think about, you've got your right knee lifted, right foot lifted. Squeeze that right glute. See if you can move that stretch around a little bit. One more breath. Hips are nice and square. Obviously balance work here. Keep that knee close to the other one. Don't let it sway out to the side. Perfect. Lifted leg takes its time. Moves back down to the mat right next to your standing foot. Inhale, breath, big reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Perfect. We're going to step back with the left foot. Warrior one feet again. Bring your arms up. Exhale, elbows in front of the face. Switching it up just a little bit. Open it up to cactus. Elbows in front of face. Lift them back up. Just going to do that one more time. Elbows in front of face. Open them up to cactus. Back in front of face. And then lift them up. Let the arms peel down the sides of the room. Start straightening this front knee, assessing where your legs are. Again, I stepped back just a smidge too far. So I'm going to move this back foot up. My toes are out, but I'm going to start to turn them so they face a little bit more up my mat. If balance last time was a big issue for you, widen your feet a little bit. See if you can make sure those hips are headlighting straight up the mat and then hinge into that front leg. So we're pulling this front leg, your long leg, back into your body while you're trying to take your top half and stretch it out over that leg. Now again, maybe your hands go to blocks and you can always reach these farther, you can reach them wider, you can bring them back. All kinds of different places they can go. We're paying attention to this front knee, making sure it's not hyperextending. We're making contact with that back heel on the earth. Realize that breath's pretty loud to you, but I just want to remind you to breathe. It's so important to take that big exhale. Especially when the poses get a little tricky, they get a little more challenging, a little harder to hold and stay in. All right, soften this front knee. Start to bring the chest back up. You're going to take a big step to that front foot and then your back foot's gonna lift. I'm gonna go right into that same quad stretch we played with before. So keeping an eye on making sure that you're keeping this knee close to the body. You're gonna activate that hip flexor a little more by squeezing through the glutes. You'll start to feel it change. So do it with a loose booty, no squeeze, and then put a little squeeze in it and see how it changes. Keep the knee close, keep the gaze out in front so that your balance stays still. One more breath. Beautiful, drop that lifted foot. Let's go right into a forward fold. So arms go up, exhale, hinge and fold. Halfway lift, exhale, fold, step your feet back. Let's go to plank. Hold a nice strong plank for me. Show me that shoulder strength, show me that upper body strength, push the heels back, show me your core strength, lifting right up between those shoulder blades, wrists are under shoulders. Feet are about hip distance apart. You're gazing just a couple inches out in front, you're holding, you're strong, you're thinking about all that back support you're providing your body by strengthening that core. Knees drop, hips sit back, child's pose. Elbows might go to ground, or you can reach for these blocks again and do a high arm child's pose. You got 3 breaths. Perfect, starting to rise up out of that child's pose. We're just gonna look for hand contact on the earth. Give me a couple cat-cows. Talk to your spine again. Send it a little love. Exhaling always when we find that cat spine. Inhaling when the belly drops down into your cow. Perfect, knees come forward towards your wrists. Crisscross at the ankles, start to sit the hips down. All right, when you are ready, we're gonna send the right foot nice and long out to the front. Left knee comes in, and then we're gonna let it go out to the side. You start to look like you're making kind of a tree pose here. When you feel ready, the hips and arms lengthen the chest, fold over this front leg. Pulling that hip back into the socket as the chest moves forward towards the knee. You can always reach for blocks. Give your arms something to rest on. One more breath, the belly is heavy. Just kind of falling down. Inhale, bring the chest back up, reach the hands up. Beautiful. You're gonna take your left hand, let it reach back your mat. This left leg that's on the earth is gonna stay kind of like a kickstand. You're gonna keep your right heel glued, and you're just going to lift the hips as you reach back with this right hand. Big side body opener. Stay here, 2 more breaths. Perfect, good arm strength. Bring those hips down, relax. Let this knee that's been out to the side start to stand up. Switch out your legs, opposite knee comes in. Let it fold out like you're making tree pose, seated here. Turn just a little bit so you can still see my shapes. Arms are up, and then hinge and fold towards that front foot. Remembering, you don't have to grab it. You can put blocks around the sides. You can even reach for that strap You can always use that in your hands if you need to for a little more space. You know I like props. So if they're handy, use them. If you think they're going to make you feel more comfortable in the shapes, they're going to take away the worry. And go for it. All right, just as you did before, use the inhale breath to start to bring length. The same bent knee, that hand's gonna reach back. I need to switch or I'm gonna run out of space. Reach back behind you. Right knee stays on the ground like a kickstand. Left heel touches the earth. We lift hips, we reach. Now my hand is slightly out in front of that shoulder so that my wrist isn't taking the brunt of this. I'm using a lot of side body. I'm using this tricep. This foot on the ground, this knee on the ground has got some of my weight. My heel's got some of my weight. All right, beautiful. Start dropping that hip down. Turn and square. Legs go long. Let your knees kind of jog here on the mat. Drop those shoulders. All right, one last movement for the shoulders. Now you can have two options here. Hands can just press into the earth, or you can even put blocks on either side of you. This is a fun challenge I like to do. Put those blocks there, push weight into your hands and see if you can just lift and hold your bum up off the earth for just a couple moments. It's a big arm strengthener. Other option is to bend knees, hands walk back, and we think about crab pose. And it's just like it sounds, just the old-fashioned crab walk we used to have to do in PE class. My 9-year-old son can rock the crab pose. This is his favorite. He's so fast, just like a crab scurrying across the beach. All right, beautiful. No matter what you've been holding, let's go ahead and lower back down. If you want one more abdominal challenge, maybe the toes come up into your version of boat. You hold. Use that core strength, ladies and gents. All right, and then just bring yourself down. We're gonna head to our backs. I told you I was gonna try my best not to forget to use your strap. And today I actually remembered. So let's head back to our backs. Go ahead and lasso or strap up whatever foot you'd like to start with. I'm gonna start with my right, but you can do your left or your right. Now, depending on how much space you have at home, you might stay right here, kind of in the center plane of your mat. I always say that in order to have a home practice, you really don't need much more space than the length and width of a yoga mat. However, it's always nice to have a little bit of space on either side of you. So if you do have that space and you want to bring this foot slightly out to the side, or maybe you have enough space to let it fall all the way down and either be caught on the earth or a prop. Today in my space, I have a bolster over there waiting, so it feels kind of nice just to let it fall and drop onto that bolster. But my shoulders are relaxed. Even though I'm holding on with this strap, there's some tension in the upper part. I guess that's not the upper part. From my wrist to my elbow. So that part of my arm, my forearm, is holding with the strap. It's got some tension, but from my elbow up to my shoulder, I'm trying to keep those muscles pretty loose. Because I did a lot of work with my shoulder today. I really don't need to make it do too much more. If it's been out to the side, start bringing that foot back to center. If your sciatic nerve isn't angry, you can take this foot slightly over and across the body. That's an IT band stretch and sometimes can aggravate the sciatic nerve. So if you know you have sciatica, or that tends to flare up for you. Don't go too far over, or just listen. Today I'm gonna skip it. My sciatic nerve has been pretty happy lately, so I really don't want to make it angry. Ever since the birth of my twins, that's been something I have to pay attention to. Sometimes it gets kind of angry. I definitely appreciate having the yoga tools to help it when it does get angry. All right, start easing that foot back down towards the earth. Or, if you're feeling fancy today, you can certainly switch mid-air. But whatever way feels best to you, just to get your other foot into the strap. You've probably been noticing that all of these straps today, all of these poses with the strap today, I've had my other foot planted with knee bent. You certainly can take this leg long. I just felt like that was a little too big for me today. So just make the adjustment that feels good to you. So I'd love to be able to show you every option available in all the poses. I would be injured quite often if I did that. So I try my best to model what's available to you, but also honor my own body. So today I have a bent knee. Maybe you do too. You can stay right here in center, or those of you who had a little bit more space last time you took your foot out to the side. An available option is to work with your blocks that you have handy. You can always build something for your leg to rest on. Let it come out to the side. With 1 or 2 blocks. Whatever space you're in, stay okay with me. We'll stay with the leg out to the side for about 2 or 3 more breaths and then start to bring it back to center, giving you the opportunity to play with that same IT band stretch if you did that before. So let's just take our time. We'll start to stand this foot back up. Let it cross over that center line. So it comes back to center. And then we're just going to let it go long. I'm removing the strap, done with it for the day. See where you feel. See what needs to be moved around. If you're feeling okay, you can bend the knees, maybe let them kind of sway a little bit right and left. Maybe you even hug them in up close to the heart. You rock around. See how your hips feel. If they're feeling a little tight, maybe you take a figure 4 on your back here and kind of roll around, letting that piriformis, as well as the outer hip, ankles, knees, let all those have a little attention, and just take a couple breaths with that leg. And then maybe you switch and go the other leg. Of course, knowing you can obviously stay in any of these poses a little longer if that feels good to you. But I also don't want you to miss out on your Savasana. So when you're ready, after you feel like you've listened, the body got a few things of what it needs, start to move into that shape that is your final Savasana. If you feel like, since you're practicing at home, you'd like a little bit of an inversion as part of your Savasana, you can look for a wall that's nearby in your space, or the edge of the couch, the bed, a chair. You can put your hips up close and do a legs up the wall for your final Savasana with having something behind you to support you, where I would turn my hips and put my legs onto the wall. You, of course, can take more of a traditional savasana. Maybe your legs just go long on your mat, heels, plant, toes, roll out. You can reach for bolsters or blankets or blocks. Create whatever shape feels best. And just relax right into that pose. Staying in that shape as long as you may need. Just waiting for the sound of my voice to pull you out of that final pose when it is time. Slowly starting to become aware of your breath. Allowing for some gentle movements to come back into the body. These might be really simple, like wiggling of fingers or toes, maybe bending the knees, swaying the head back and forth on the earth, gently blinking open the eyes if that's where you are, rolling to rest on your right or maybe your left side. I want you to just take your time coming to your feet. Today's final reading is entitled, If You're Going to Worry, Enjoy It Completely. Living Your Yoga. Worrying is focusing on the future. It takes you away from what is. But if you like it, do it completely. This will make you smile and you will probably stop worrying about what you can't control. Make today a day of conscious worrying. If you're gonna worry, enjoy it completely. This will probably make you smile and stop worrying about things you cannot control. Make today a day of conscious worrying. I greatly appreciate you joining me not only today, but every time you click reserve or play and join us for these classes virtually at SIFT. May you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again. Namaste.